It was September 16th, 1992. On the surface, London looked calm. The streets were filled with people going about their daily routines, businessmen rushing to meetings, tourists snapping photos of Tower Bridge, and street vendors shouting their wares. But beneath that ordinary city life, a financial storm was brewing. One man, armed only with his insight, his courage, and nerves of steel, was about to take on an entire country's economy. His name was George Soros. Few people understood him. Few knew what he was planning. And even fewer could imagine the impact of what would happen that day. By the end of it, history would remember him as the man who broke the Bank of England. To understand what happened, we need to go back to the European Exchange Rate Mechanism, or ERM. The ERM was a system designed to stabilize currencies across Europe by linking them to each other. The British pound, in particular, was pegged to the German Deutschmark. On paper, this made the pound look stable, almost untouchable. But the UK economy told a different story. Inflation was high, meaning prices were rising faster than people's wages. Economic growth was slow, and unemployment was rising in some regions. Political uncertainty added even more pressure. The government had promised stability, but the pound was actually vulnerable. Most investors, looking at the numbers superficially, believed the pound was safe. They thought, the pound is strong, nothing will happen. But Soros thought differently. He saw weakness where others saw strength. He noticed patterns in the market that were invisible to almost everyone else, and he prepared to make a bold move that would shock the financial world. Soros's plan was daring, almost unimaginable. He decided to short the pound. This meant he would borrow billions of pounds and immediately sell them, betting that their value would fall. The idea was simple in theory, but executing it required immense courage, calculation, and timing. Every trade he made added pressure on the currency. The Bank of England, realizing what was happening, tried desperately to defend the pound. They raised interest rates, hoping to make the currency more attractive to investors. They bought billions of pounds on the open market, but it was like trying to hold back the tide with a single bucket. By midday, the pressure was immense. The pound began to fall faster than anyone anticipated. Traders across the world watched in disbelief. Brokers frantically called their offices. News reporters typed out urgent headlines. London's financial heart was in chaos, because one man had made a bet that most thought was impossible. By the end of the day, the pound was in free fall. Billions had been spent in a failed attempt to defend it. Soros had made a fortune, over $1 billion in profit, and history would remember the audacity of his move. One man had outsmarted an entire nation. One man had changed the course of financial history in just 24 hours. The consequences were enormous. The UK government was forced to withdraw from the ERM, an event that became known as Black Wednesday. Stock markets were rattled. Ordinary people saw the effects in their savings, mortgages, and investments. Pension funds were affected. The nation's confidence had been shaken. But for Soros, it was not about destruction or chaos. He viewed it as a moment of principle, a demonstration of insight and strategy. It was about understanding patterns, human behavior, and the psychology of markets. He had calculated the risks, studied the weaknesses in the system, and acted decisively. And it worked. Even as one man triumphed, millions felt the ripple effects. It was a stark reminder that in the world of finance, the actions of a single individual or a single decision can have consequences far beyond what anyone might expect. One man, one day, one incredible gamble that shook a nation. This is the essence of Wall Street: powerful, relentless, and fascinating. But remember this: today's triumph can become tomorrow's disaster. Markets change, fortunes rise and fall, and even the smartest minds are never fully safe from risk. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we dive into another legend of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street: the truth behind the legend. A story of greed, ambition, and excess that will make you question just how far people are willing to go for money. Thanks for watching! And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video.